Hello, Arks. I'm Anamana, and here is also XingKazma. How you doing today, mate? King? King's around.
I am good. I'm here. What do you mean? I came through. I'm sorry. I was fighting Luther, and he called me orange trash, so I left early. I didn't
Okay.
want to miss that fight. It hurt my feelings.
You're listening to the Oracle Fleet Podcast. This is episode 11, your weekly podcast for PSO2 news, information, and I guess more than that, to kind of talk to other people around the community. So this is mostly for the global servers, but I believe that one of our guests today also plays the Japanese servers. We're joined by Elite4k and also Kystalstar. We're both streamers on Twitch. How are you both doing today? I'll start with Elite. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good so far. Still nervous about being on this podcast though.
It's all good. It's all good. Nothing to stress about. And also Kystal, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm looking forward to this opportunity on the podcast.
I think I'm just going to quickly drop Elite a little bit. There we go. Drop, not from the podcast, not from the party, just the volume a little tiny bit. All right. So we appreciate you joining us on the podcast, as always. We're going to start with some guest questions and answers. So I'm going to start with Kystal. When did you start with the Phantasy Star series?
I started with the series like last year when it first launched on the PC.
Yep.
And that's when my journey began. A friend of mine, Faye, was the one who was really keen to play and encouraged us to try PSO2. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And what about you, Elite?
I started back in the open beta, last year in February on Xbox.
Yep.
And after a couple months, I had gotten to JP because I was getting impatient with content. So that's how I started playing JP.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Also, so at the moment, we're in a bit of a lull period. What have you do, King? I know you're playing Luther at the moment. What have you been doing to, I guess, keep yourself interested?
So, I mean, pretty much nowadays, I've been getting set up for certain affix builds or whatever. So I've been grinding just a lot of quests. But typically, I just run in and I go in with the mindset of just playing to play. Yep. So I just try to, sharpen my skills and make sure I keep the skills up a little bit. I've been doing a lot better with my Luster, so I just try to make sure I maintain that.
Yeah. How are you finding Luster on the NA or global servers, I should say, compared to JP?
It looks a lot cleaner. I don't know. It's something like the way NA was made. The game looks a lot better, but then playing Luster just feels more smooth. I don't know if it has to do with like the ping that I had to face being on JP servers or something, but the class altogether is just easier to learn, better to control. So I just feel a lot faster and a lot more fluent.
I think in general the Western version runs on a higher DirectX as well, so that could be one of the, at least how it looks, kind of things. But Elite, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy and interested?
I've been running a lot of solo triggers and gearing in NA so I can play with teammates.
Yep.
And I also have a Ship 2 character now that I started recently, so that's catching up.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got like a few characters I need to level up at the moment on other ships. What about in terms of classes? Have you been trying different classes recently?
I tried a little Twin Daggers fighter in JP. What other class? I tried playing Phantom. Mm-hmm. That didn't work too well. I do play Luster occasionally. That's like the other class I play.
Yep.
Like aside from Hero.
Awesome. And what about you, Kystal? What keeps you playing PSO2?
It's definitely the community. Like they're welcoming and supporting like throughout like playing the game my experience.
Yep.
It stands out from other games I've played, like Final Fantasy 14. I kept on comparing it back to that game as well. Like it's PS2 is something different, and I liked having the option to run exploration solo instead of having to queue up for a group to progress through content.
Yep. That's fair.
Yeah.
Definitely. What about the social side of it? Are you more like what content, I guess, do you like in PSO2? Hang on, let me rephrase this. What content do you find yourself enjoying the most?
I like just doing the usual, like the dailies, the recommendeds, because the rewards is quite rewarding. The going through the story is interesting, and also there's like parts here and there that make me laugh.
Yep.
So I enjoy that.
Definitely. What about you, Elite? What about you for in terms of content you enjoy?
I mainly enjoy EQs and boss fights the most in PSO.
Yep. Is there any specific ones that you enjoy, or are there?
I've had a obsession with Persona for a while now.
So you're
for months, actually.
swimming in fragments at the moment.
On JP, not in NA.
Oh no.
Yes. Yes.
Lucky they gave all that stuff away though as well.
Yeah, I recently just made my light stream rear piece. Now
Yeah.
all I need is a 13-star light stream for my arm, and then I should be good to go.
I think I just need one more piece myself. Actually, I completely forgot about it. I recently just swapped from like Force Phantom to Force Etoile, so I got to learn that again now. And I've just made the Genin Talus, so that's going to be interesting. King, what about you? What have you been enjoying in terms of content recently?
Dude, honestly, I don't even know anymore, man. Like, I've drained everything out, and pretty much at this point, I go in, like I said, I just go in and I just run stuff. So divide quests are a pretty good, time saver, or they just run me through like a quick couple of hours. Plus, I get some stuff out of it that is actually usable. So, I guess I can say divide quests.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Like, have you two been playing many divide quests as well, Elite and Kystal?
Yeah, I've been farming a lot of divide recently.
Mm.
Elite gets money to bully Mitra, like, explicitly.
Mitra bullies me sometimes, man. I get stun locked and I'm dead at that point.
Yes.
What about you, Kystal?
I've tried divides. I think I've got a bit to go to try and get the hang of it, because apparently you need to get like S rank to be able to do 6 to 10. So that's something I need to work on.
Yeah. Have you been doing it solo or with a party?
I've been doing it solo.
Have you got an alliance that you can jump with? I think that'd open it up and make it a lot easier to learn as well.
I do have an alliance. I should ask them.
Yeah, definitely. What ship are you on?
Ship 1 or ship 2?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm on ship 2.
Ship 2. All right. So if anyone, and is your character called Kystalstar?
Yes.
So if anyone wants to take Kystalstar under their wing on ship 2, just send them a whisper chat, or what do you call it, like a message, and ask if they would like some assistance, and there you go. Easy way to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I have a ship 2 character as well. So once I think it needs like 3 more levels to 85, but once I get it there, it's pretty much geared out. We can definitely run some.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I just need to level up my Novell weapons, and I'm good to go.
There you go. Got a few people to play with.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about in terms of a favorite moment in time for PSO2? Recently, King, what have you been? What has been a standout moment for you?
Actually, I think one of the biggest success I had so far was fighting Persona.
Yeah.
I finally did a solo run with Luster not too long ago, and it was really smooth, about 18 minutes. And I'm hoping to like bring it down more, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, what about Elite? What is your favorite moment? I saw you do that little giggle. What's been the most?
Because I just remembered a time where tier 1 was just being made.
Yep.
And Luther had came out for the first time, and we heard his English voice, and the first thing we heard was "you piece of Ark's trash," and we kept memeing that line.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
I think that's like an iconic line at this point. What about you, Kystal?
Favorite moment?
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite moment was completing the augmenting and fixing process on the katana that I have now on my Braver.
Oh, nice. What are you running with?
I'm currently running with is it Rivalate katana? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, Rivalate.
Plus 35. I have.
I think like that was when we had the last affix week. I did mine, and I think I put like however many S grades. I managed to make Mana Reverie, which I was stressed about last time because I didn't have all the parts. Because we actually had the capsule shop this time, and then I just did a whole bunch of like attack power, and then I can't remember what I put on it, but I've got a decent affix now. It could be better, obviously, but what have you got the affixes?
Yes. S5 Counterblade, S4 Steadfast Will, Might, VI Astral Soul, Crystal Might, and Persona Reverie.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, this is something that I thought I'll never get into,
Mm-hmm.
and it could daunted me as a new player. It does have a lot of procedures and requirements that I felt wasn't easy to pick up and try.
Yeah.
But thanks to ZanTM, he helped me to get an idea about what it's about, and we worked and figured out a plan for the katana. And once it was done, it was very rewarding, and I was more comfortable to try it again in the future for like maybe the Raver Bow. And yeah.
Yeah, I would say that with affixing, the system has a lot of it's a foggy system where it seems like it's harder than it is. And when you actually break it down and break down the process, and it's almost like Photoshop layers, right? Like once you like break that down and realize, oh, okay, it's not that hard. The only thing that's really difficult about it is having the luck for each part of that to actually work right. That's
yes.
Yeah. What about you, Elite? Do you like the affixing system?
No. For someone who is more focused on gameplay, I don't do much affixing. So every time I go to it, I'm always confused and asking my chat, am I doing this right? Should I do this? Should I get this? Should I buy this again?
Yeah.
So I'm going back and forth a lot trying to figure it out. And when I finally get it, I'm scared to finalize it because I don't know if I did it right or not. So I'm just like waiting for like 3 minutes and waiting for confirmation.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like you're like 50% sure it's going to be fine, especially if you don't do it much. And then the moment you do it and it's all 100%, it's like, yes, it can't fail. I think the only risk is if it's less than 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's less than 100% and it has a chance of failing, like Guardian Soul, for example, the base affix percentage, I think it's at 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck with that on a non-boost week and without capsules.
Yeah, without having a lot of recycle badges for what do you call it? Insurance.
Yeah, the protections.
Yeah. Do you Kystal, do you like the affixing system now that you've played with it? Is it something you'd probably spend more time with now?
I'm still developing confidence in it, but I'll definitely like to give it another shot.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like the more I like go through it, the system, then the more I'll be able to have that confidence and yeah.
Yeah. What about you, King? I don't think I've ever asked you, do you like affixing?
Nope, not a single bit.
See, I
hate affixing.
I don't know if people legitimately like it. I mean, there's probably someone that said they like affixing, but I feel like the main drive for people to affix, for the people that do a lot of affixing, is the fact that no one likes affixing and that they can make money because people would rather buy the stuff than affix, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, it's like, especially when you're doing like episode 6 affixing and high end, like when you're trying to make sure you can actually make money by affixing, it's a lot more annoying because it takes a process of you getting a bunch of different material and then you're kind of like pre-building armor with affixes on it that they don't really ever drop together. So you could do like Legion Tyro and Mitra, or Mitra Glare or something like that and sell it for a couple mil. Or if you want to throw together like now Mono Reverie is free, but like if you were to throw Mono Reverie on whatever, like you take affixes that are really popular or needed, or I guess high in demand, you can say, and then you put them on with other affixes that are higher in demand, but they don't drop together. Like if you were to go and appeal, or what is it? Appeal? I can't remember the name. If you were to go to like check the weapon, they don't spawn together on the same weapon. So you have to plan, and then trying to get Mitra Glare on something, it's like three different ones for like 50%. So the whole thing is just a process alone, and then you have to hope to God that Doodoo doesn't screw you over in the end, because that's even more money out of your pocket. I remember Elite, I came into your stream not too long ago and you were building a slot weapon, and I think you had like 50 mil to start and you ended with 9 mil, and I was clapping and applauding you. I was like, dude, I cannot believe you got that.
I was losing it. I really was. I was trying to fix 2 weapons to 8 slot and do basic affixes on them, but the whole time Dudu kept failing me, and I kept doing the walk of shame, going back to buy more weapons to up slot. It kept down slotting specifically to 5 slots, so that was even more frustrating.
No. I think I had that when I was making my Rivalate rod. Was basically, I'm glad it was on the free week, because the only thing that was painful was running back and forth to the Visiphone, but having an up slot each time and then it going down 1 or 2 slots is just so painful.
The walk of shame.
Yeah, pretty much. Why don't they just have like the Visiphone built into the affixing place, right?
I wish. I really wish they did. That's
what I'm looking forward to with New Genesis, is that instead of having, like if I want to enhance a weapon, I have to do the weird walk up the stairs, up to the shop, then jump down or walk back down, and if I had a lot of class X cubes, I would need to walk over to the other side to go and get like a capsule, enhancement cap +1. That's like the painful thing. But with New Genesis, it's all like one row of shops. I think it's going to be a lot better. We might as well talk about New Genesis then. Do we think, the question we've got here is, and we get this a lot, I don't know if this is just gamer concern, which is the one thing, like people tend to be very much like, oh, I don't know, like a lot of time when it comes to games. We'll start with Kystal. Do you think that people will stop playing PSO2, the base version, once New Genesis comes out?
I think so. From what I know, they are carrying over some aspects of PSO2 that can be used in NGS.
Yep.
People have invested a lot of time into PSO2, and I think they need that connection so they don't have to start completely from scratch in New Genesis.
Yeah.
I personally will be trying out NGS, and I'm curious to see how it goes. And from there, I'll see like how much time I put into both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think like that's the thing, is we're kind of uncertain, and it's leaning towards your weapons probably don't mean much. Bring them over to New Genesis. It's more of the cosmetics and I guess vibing with how your character looks and feeling at home with that character, which is the main part that people were concerned about. What about you, Elite? What do you think with New Genesis coming out? I mean, I think it's obvious there's going to be that hype period where people are trying it, but outside of that,
I mean, people are definitely going to play New Genesis. Like, a lot of people are going to move over, but I still believe other people, like, there's going to be a group of people who are still playing regular PSO. For me, for example, or people who want to try to get good at the game still.
Yeah.
There's going to be people trying to still do solo, like a solo type of mission, like a trigger or solo divide, doing that in a fast time, getting the endless titles, getting star gems from PSO2 still, like the base game.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
So I believe people will still be playing PSO2 instead of always being on NGS.
Yeah. What about you, King? Just before I give my thoughts. What's that?
So, I mean, I don't know, honestly. Like, so I do kind of feel with what Elite was just saying, like all the star gems for people to pick up is definitely going to be a good bet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because if you think about it, going into New Genesis, a lot of people really aren't playing PSO2 right now, especially people who are going to be on NA for like the first time ever.
Yep.
So for them to come in, collect, what is it? How many star gems for the story mode?
A lot.
I think it's over 2,000.
Yeah, it's a lot.
1,000.
Yeah. They're going to be pretty set. And then other than basically trying to secure currency and or fashion, I don't really know much else, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, about 2,000-ish you can get. This is doing like your casual and hardcore story missions. And then there's like leveling up to certain levels for each class. You'll get star gems. People should be farming this stuff before New Genesis, but I don't think the content that drops with New Genesis is going to carry people for say like a year. I think it'll maybe be 3 months, unless hopefully they do have like a schedule of content coming out. So I think at some point people are going to hit a wall with what they've done with New Genesis, or maybe they're just going to play it so much that they're going to burn out, and then they're going to go back to PSO2 and maybe do their dailies or weeklies to get some Aseta to buy cosmetics, or maybe getting star gems and stuff like that. But I don't think PSO2 is going to die by any means. There'll be less people. Like it might feel like the lull right now most of the time, but I don't know. I think that there's definitely going to be like Elite saying the I only like the first 151 Pokemon type people that will only play base PSO2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is there any other like reason why people wouldn't play New Genesis or why they would drop PSO2?
I can't actually think of any more reasons at the moment.
There's like an elephant in the room. What if New Genesis is not good? Like, what if it's fun for the first few hours and then people realize, no, I don't like this bit? That could be a reason.
Yeah, people could end up not liking something about New Genesis and then going back to base.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep. I mean,
And
sorry, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's probably gonna be those players that are in between that are probably considering playing PSO2, but they're like, oh, New Genesis is coming out, so they're like, kind of like, which one, and or should I start with first?
Mm-hmm. Someone in chat just mentioned the new graphics will help base PSO2 as well. That is another elephant in the room, is that a lot of people that are maybe more modern minded in terms of graphics have dropped PSO2 because they tried it and it's like, to us it looks fine, but to them it's like, oh, this doesn't look like Crisis, you know?
Yeah.
So there'll probably be those people who'll come back with the update. And I guess with enhanced screenshot studio features, maybe people that were finding base PSO2 a little bit frustrating to, you know, wrestle with the controls to take screenshots. That could be another thing. But I think there should be something for everyone.
Ooh, I actually might be able to get into screenshots for once with the studio. I usually don't do screenshots.
True.
Did so much.
I did a lot of screenshots in Final Fantasy 14, so.
Does Final Fantasy 14 have like a screenshot system or a?
Yeah, all you have to do is do /G pose,
Okay.
and then you can have all these settings and stuff you can change. You can freeze people in place. You can change the filters, and yeah, it's really fun.
It'd be nice to have a
All
system.
my years of 14, and I never knew this.
Oh, we gotta do some G posing.
It'd be nice if PSO2 didn't have that slash system for pausing an emote. Like, if they had a pop-up window where you could just scroll back and forth with the emote and figure out the frame you want. I think that'd be a lot better.
If I'm not mistaken, you can turn it into a macro, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that you need to like play with the commands until you get it right.
True.
Like when you're in a video editor and you've got the little timeline bar and you've got the little thing you can move back and forth, can go between it. If you could do that with an emote and get to the right point and pause it, and then maybe get like maybe it spits out the command that you can then save as a macro. I think that'll be cool. All right.
A lot stressful.
Stressful?
No, that's actually a lot less stressful.
Yeah, I think it would be. We also had news recently about combat power, which is a system basically where instead of just getting to the appropriate level and then jumping in with your Vita sword and your stellar units, you will actually need to have level for, I don't know if it's both classes, you'll need to have as well, like your equipment, there's up to date, like say you're level 45 and you have a 9-star set of gear, you need to have that at that level. Or maybe you might need to upgrade a 10-star, whatever the star rating is. And then you need to affix and make sure that you've at least got a base level of affixes, enhancement level, and there's probably like some other things as well, which will all go together to make like a combat power. And I think for the closed beta, it was 950 to get into the urgent quest. So the positives of this at a base level, I think, are that it gives people like a baseline that they need to meet that is legitimate and actually a more responsible requirement to hit to get access to that stuff, so that you're at least at a base to access it and be able to actually perform. But the negatives is that obviously skill still plays a part in this, and there could be other negatives. But what do we think? Do we see this as a positive change or a negative change? And what things are you worried about, or what things do you think are good? Who wants to go first?
I'm still thinking about how to word my responses right now.
What do you think, Kystal? As a kind of more casual player.
It'll be good to know that the people playing with you have the minimum requirements for whatever instance it is.
Yeah.
It sounds similar to the eye level requirements in 14 as well. Is that correct?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure if 14 just really plays on just each piece of equipment has an eye level, like World of Warcraft, or if materia or other stuff plays a part as well. I'm not too sure.
Each gear contributes towards your overall eye level of your character.
Yeah. What about you, Elite? Have you articulated?
Yeah. So for the negative, I think it's both. For the negative, it can be so like you want to play with a friend, you power level them, but they don't have the right gear. They're not getting to that combat power. Well, then you can't really play with them yet. But the positive side is if there's a newer player who, again, someone who's solo played and power leveled, and they don't even have the right gear, and they try to jump into that activity, they're not completely geared yet.
Yep.
And if, like in PSO, base PSO, if somebody hit level 85 with, say, Nox weapons, for example, if they go into that EQ or UQ, then they're not going to be doing as much damage as everybody else. And I don't want to say it like this, but essentially they're a waste of space.
Yeah, I mean, there's always there's two sides of it, right? There's people that have put in enough time and effort to get to the point, and maybe they're carrying people and they're getting frustrated. But the other side is there's the middle where it's like, yep, you've gotten to that point, you put in the effort to at least get a base level to get access. But then there's the other side of it, which is, I feel like, split into two groups of people that maybe just don't know any better. They're just not confident in the system yet. They just don't understand what they can do to raise that level. And then I think there will definitely be some people that are like, at least in PSO2 now, is that, hey, I don't care, I've hit level 85, people can do the work for me. And if Buster quests were a thing, people idling, right?
It's like how Destiny 2's power level system or light level system works right now. So if you're under leveled and someone else is at that level, you can't play with them. Or like you can't do that activity if you're under leveled, or at least you're gonna struggle. So say like 1260 is the light you're at, and the required light level or the recommended is 1300. Well, at that point, you really can't do that activities, because if you try to shoot the enemies, you're not doing any damage at all.
Yep.
So you have to level up. So you're in Destiny is a little more RNG based with how you get your light level up, because you can get an armor piece or a weapon from an engram, or get a random drop, and you have to hope to dear God that it's the right armor piece or weapon that you need to infuse into another weapon.
I guess the benefit PSO2 has is that you can at least buy some of that gear off the market and then go from there. Which I wonder if they'll do for Destiny down the track.
I don't know if they'll add trading or buying items off of a market. I doubt it. I would hope they would do something like that, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah. Sorry, King, were you mentioning something before when we were talking about this? Because I feel like we
I was just saying,
spoke over.
I was just saying, like, the whole power level thing, I was going to add on to that. But I do think it speaks to them trying to make the game, I guess, a little more difficult, in a way of, like, you know, if a boss is too difficult, like say in Final Fantasy 15, and you don't have the gear level, they're basically trying to say, like, at this minimum of attack power that you're able to put out right now, you cannot beat this boss. So, like I said, I think it speaks to how the complexity of high-end or high-level gameplay that we just don't know about yet. I think it really speaks to that, considering the experiences I've had from other RPGs. And I like it, but I don't think it's going to be a fit for a lot of casual PSO2 players.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there is like a variety of different activities you can play regardless. Like, I mean, at some point you're going to hit power levels or combat powers that are going to give you access regardless. Like, if the closed beta there was 950 and that was only 3-star gear, you're going to pass that and eventually get to higher levels and get access to stuff. So you're not going to be locked out of every activity, I don't think. But I don't know if we've seen a difficulty system yet for the different urgent quests. We'll have to wait and see with that. And I guess the other side of it is that we've only got the information on paper just yet. We haven't seen the way they scale it in game yet. And when you're talking to Lead as well about playing with a friend, we don't know if there's any scaling that's going to happen when you're in a party outside of an urgent quest, right? Just about roaming and taking out emergency trials and stuff like that.
Right, roaming. Yeah, we don't know about that yet.
Yeah,
it might have some scaling.
What features are you looking forward to with new Genesis Kystal that you've heard of, or even classes? I think you might be muted at the moment.
Yeah, she looks muted.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yes, okay. I'm looking forward to like what new things they can bring to like the PSO2 kind of feeling. Like, I like the look of like new graphics and like this open world kind of thing. I haven't looked into it too much, but I'm definitely want to give it a try and to see the differences between the two.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people were jumping into the closed beta and having a look, and
Yeah.
some bits look interesting, but you want to see it for yourself on your own PC rather than just seeing a stream that might not have a good bit rate, right?
Possibly.
Yeah. What about you, Elite? What are you looking forward to in terms of, I guess, class and features?
I'm looking forward to how Hunter would play, and honestly, the open world, just running around like an idiot trying to find stupid places to get into.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun thing.
Soon.
What about class, Kystal? What do you think you're going to start with?
Maybe either Hunter or Tech, because they don't have Braver in NGS, right? So I'll probably either pick one of those two classes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're gonna release Braver at some point, but it's just like not in the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to like slowly roll them out with major updates.
Yeah, I would hope they do that with Scion classes, but I doubt that.
Yeah, I think they're the ones I could be proven wrong, but they're the ones I'm not holding my breath on. King,
Luster might be the exception, though. Oh,
possible. It's possible. King, have you cracked yet and watched any footage or?
Oh wait. Nah, not at all. I'm still like trying to dodge everything as much as possible. I've even went as far as to block certain words from PSO2.
What about
just
Twitter?
so it doesn't pop up in my timeline.
Yeah.
Huh?
In Twitter.
Yeah. So like I'm trying not to see a thing, because like for you two, if you don't know, like my problem with games is that if I have so much experience with video games and crap, if I see like the slightest thing, I'm going to overanalyze and I'm pretty much going to guess how it's going to work or what's going to happen. And sometimes, I guess like 70% of the times, I end up being right. And what that does is it kills my excitement for things, so I just don't watch it at all. And I want the excitement to be like pure, and I want you to see like nothing but joy on my face. So I try not to watch things that I'm like super excited about.
Fair enough.
But I am planning to go fighter. I am definitely planning to go fighter, because if Gunblade is a thing, I want to know that I have something in my back pocket.
Yeah, that's fair. So we are coming up to the ending for PSO2 content, and we're trying to come up with topics before we went in with the podcast. And Kystal was mentioning that you'd like to maybe share your thoughts on how it's been for a casual player to jump into PSO2. Where do you want to start?
From when I first started, it's been a journey. Like when I was completely new. One of the first things that greeted me was the wall of text that were popping up and interrupting every 5 to 10 minutes when I did something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good that they had that information. But I felt it can be like overwhelming for a new player.
Yep.
That's where the community comes in. I found that they were a great help in getting me started in the game. Without them, I probably wouldn't have been able to get into PSO2 as much as I do now, because I can see that they clearly have a passion for the game, and their interest in helping and supporting new players is very clear. I can see it in like the way that they help. They have patience. They're happy to answer questions, and from my experience, I haven't had any like judgments from others about how I play the game, which is casual.
Yeah.
That has been encouraging for me to keep playing, and over time, I've developed my confidence in playing PSO2, and I know now like most of the basics than before. Of course, there's still things for me to learn, but I'm happy with where I am at the moment. And
that's good to hear.
a challenge about being a casual player. would be that I felt like I had a lot to catch up on compared to other players due to my casual play style. When playing PSO2, people treated me the same regardless of how often I played the game. So having that like inclusiveness is a really good thing about the community.
Mm-hmm.
And also because of the experienced players like you guys, I am inspired to keep going in the game and just keep learning.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess like that's the big thing. Sorry, you go, King. I was just gonna mention
Go ahead.
getting into an alliance and stuff is a big help as well. But you go.
I just wanted to ask another question, because I don't think I've asked this to any VTuber that we've had yet. But as a VTuber, for the sake of the community, because if you go down PSO2 right now, like anyone watching this, I ask you, go to the directory and scroll down. It is like 80% VTuber, and it is awesome. So like for the VTuber community, how have you felt coming into PSO2, and how do you think it'll affect the VTuber community coming with New Genesis?
Can you say it again, please?
I was asking how was it for you to come, like how did it feel you coming in as a new or casual player as a VTuber, and how do you think it will affect the VTuber community going into New Genesis, considering the fashion and being able to make your model in the game and whatnot?
Yeah, I think it'll be very good for the VTuber community as they can create their own characters in the game and things. And for me personally, I use things like face rig because I usually don't use my face, so it's like that's how I use that. So I don't know if I can speak for the VTuber community, but yeah, it's been a good experience on streaming PSO2 on Twitch, and it's a good community. It's fascinating to see how like everybody's connected to each other and supporting each other and like hanging out and having fun and through a game that they love and enjoy playing.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, kind of?
I'd even say that if someone is interested in starting as a VTuber on Twitch, just get like a I don't know if they're artistic or anything like that, but if they can at least get like just a static image of their character and put it in the bottom, that's a start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you can draw, you can draw a picture. Like for my Twitch icon, I just drew a picture. Like it's like a bunny slash. Yeah, it's like a bunny.
What if someone was to get into VTubing, what would you say outside of spending 5,000 plus whatever to make like a rad looking VTube character? Where would you say the easiest place for someone to start with making a character, whether or not I think, isn't it a 3D model is the easiest place to start?
I think there's a lot of free content out there. I am planning to create my own like VTuber avatar one day, but it's not yet. At the moment, I'm just using FaceRig. It's just on Steam and it's very easy. And a fun thing is you can switch between characters, and that can be like a fun thing to do while on the stream. Like change my avatar. Yeah.
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 You could like have multiple characters and like voice them differently as well, right?
You could, yeah. If you're a good voice actor, you can like get into the character of whatever avatar you're on and just get the feel of what kind of character or personality this person would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite fun. Yeah, it can be.
I would even say that if you are starting on Twitch or any streaming platform, and so the big thing is obviously having a face. Just in general, like when I say face, I just mean having eyes and a mouth. Right? That's a major thing for connecting with people, and having a VTube rig or a character is a way of doing that without having the fear of not having confidence to show your own face on stream. So
yes,
I think people should just try that out. I think it'd help them a lot more than when it comes to no face, no cam stream. Right? It really comes down to mostly being more skilled as a streamer or having like that personality on point. And I feel like a quick and easy way to add to that is just if you are interested in that, VTube might be a thing to look into.
Yeah, there's something about like seeing the person's expressions and stuff on the screen. It makes a difference, like when the person speaks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was doing streaming, like I didn't have any camera or anything. So then I started to think, it'd be nice if they could actually see something else going on. That's when I started to consider adding like a face rig, like VTuber.
Yeah. At the end of the day, as well, like do your stream whatever way you're comfortable with. Like this isn't us being like, if you don't do this, you're a bloody idiot or anything like that. This is just like, this is another option to consider, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I struggle with having face cam on consistently. I guess mainly due to the fact that I don't like looking to my left side when I see chat and I just see my face. I don't know. Makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
It's like when you're hearing your own voice when you're recording something. It just doesn't sound right to you and you just don't like it.
Yes.
I feel like I've just trained myself to block it out. I think that's how it's happened for me. Or because I use 2 monitors, so I use the game on one monitor, and on the other monitor I'll have chat right next to the game, and then on the other one I'll have like usually because I stream on YouTube, like all the YouTube information, but because I don't have enough screen space, I only really have my OBS up if I need to look at something on stream. Yeah. All right. So end game content, Primordial Darkness. What do people need to know? King, what do you think starting out? What are the first things people need to know about TPD?
First wave is going to be long and tedious. But the fight's really fun, and the one tip I give to people is just be vigilant and be patient.
Yeah. I see you nodding, Elite. What could you add to that?
Pay attention to what the boss is doing, and pay attention to the littlest details in that fight. Because when we first started, or it still happens sometimes, you can die from something so unexpected. I mean, it's funny at first, but if it keeps happening, then it's not funny anymore at that point.
Yeah. So, Kystal, someone that maybe hasn't looked into TPD just yet, what are your stresses going into it?
Well, my first thoughts were there are true final bosses of PSO2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about like the difficulty and like how I'll be able to handle that and stuff. I guess that's my main concern. Like how yeah.
What would you say, like, going into TPD, if there was another previous urgent quest where you would say in terms of complexity, mechanics, and maybe just how hard the boss hits or something like that, what would you say people need to go into the mindset of how serious they need to play with it would be?
Like their playstyle with the boss?
Yeah, just like in general, like any boss we've had at any point of Global being out where it's been like, holy crap, we need to step up our game.
Yes.
Has there been any like that where you'd compare to TPD?
Comparing something to TPD?
Yeah, for like Elite or King, like if they that could give you like be useful information, the level of complexity or anything like that. Is it just completely different and not really something you could compare?
I would definitely say Persona is. I mean, so Persona hits hard, and especially in his last, like second to last phase and last phase on ultra hard. Same thing with TPD. He will hit hard, and so you have to pay attention. That's why I was talking about paying attention to the littlest details. I would recommend not getting hit unless you even on any class other than a hunter, a tool, or a tool, because you're an actual tank. You can face tank a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say try not to get hit because a lot of things can one-shot you or borderline one-shot you or take a good chunk of your health.
Yeah. Someone said in chat as well, make sure you take moons with you.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need a lot of moons, especially in an unorganized TPD run.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna die.
Mm-hmm. What I will say is, sorry, Kystal, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like just being aware of the mechanics and what's you can look out for, and then from there you can avoid like taking damage as much as possible.
Yeah. So there's 2 ways to think about this as well. Is if you've got some form of recording software, like you're on PC, you could use Shadowplay. Consider maybe recording your first few runs, because then that way, if you are dying or getting hit by something, you can go back and review it. That's I think an OP strategy not many people think of. But the other thing is, just in general, if you get hit or die to something, maybe note it down so that you can practice avoiding that. And another huge thing is, just because the content is out, And if you don't feel confident, don't feel like you have to go into the highest difficulty just because it's the highest difficulty. You could always go into like a lower difficulty and just practice, right? Get a base understanding of what to expect and then go from there.
Yeah, that's what we for my first run with a couple of JP players and Cammy, we had after seeing the one of the attacks we didn't expect. I don't know, I don't remember who specifically started it, but somebody said hyper beam, and then Cam turned it into like hype beam. So we just rolled with that name, and so whenever somebody calls that out, we know what to do at that point.
Yeah. So is that just like a frontal beam attack, or is it like a sweeping?
It's it's like the boss completely engulfs the stage and just, I don't know what that stuff is, but you have to go to it's an indication, so you'll know. It's once he does the attack, you have to go on either the left side or the right side and just completely avoid it. Don't try to counter it. You're not gonna.
Okay, good to know. And there's platforms that you're jumping between, at least on the Great Mighty Pooh version of it, where you basically have to dodge off of or jump off of a platform. Not actually jumping, but just walking to the edge and you'll automatically jump off because they'll be breaking those platforms, right?
That's what I was talking about earlier, paying attention to the littlest details. So yeah, on the first phase, there are platforms you can jump on and off of. It'll be like it's glowing off to the side, and if you just go to the edge of it with anything, like an Elzonde or Safoe, or just walking toward it, you'll jump off that platform and head to the next, and you can keep running and go to the next one.
Yep.
That's one of the mechanics you actually have to pay attention to. And
Kystal did allude to the fact there's the Frayed Knot boss, which is Sodam. So are there any strategies people need to know about Sodam?
Sodam is a fight, I can say that. It's very RNG based. I will say, if someone who has aggro isn't positioning him right, he will skate back and forth like left and right, and you won't be able to hit his core.
That's annoying.
So yeah, somebody has to be able to position him correctly. So learning how to control aggro for that fight is very important. Same thing. Again, going back to Persona, same thing for Persona. If like there's a hunter who's constantly taking aggro with the war attractability, you're not gonna hit Persona's core like at all. Yeah. It's hard.
Which class would be taking the aggro for him?
The classes that can force take it can be Hunter, who will always have it no matter what. Gunner, if you're doing a lot of damage, you will always have aggro. Okay. What else? What other classes can generate aggro? I know Hero can, but again, you need to be doing a decent amount of damage for that. Yeah, Hero, Gunner, and Hunter. Pretty sure the only ones.
Okay, yes.
So, but I mean, if you're just doing a lot of damage, you're gonna have aggro regardless. So whoever, you'll know when you have aggro, because the boss will target you.
I guess the other point as well, if you're talking about damage, is if you're in a party where there's not people, there's a lot of people that aren't equipped right, and if you're playing like, I don't know, Tekka, there's a possibility you could probably take aggro, right? If you're doing more damage than everyone else.
I'm not proud of this, but I had a friend who on Tekka and Phantom Katana could do either more damage than me on Hero or just as much damage. He can do it on either Tekka or Phantom Katana, and it's very baffling because I thought Phantom Katana like needed some help, but I guess it just takes a skilled hand in order to make it work.
King, what are your thoughts? Have you been playing much Sodam, King? I'm not too sure if he's muted at the moment.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm here. I couldn't hear you. You kind of froze up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it, and have you been playing because there's like a solo version of Sodam, isn't there?
Yes, the Ultimate Quest.
I mean, I just picked Luster Go Burr. Like, I'm not honestly. My only thing is right now I'm trying to, fill in less time because you only get like 2 runs, but in India I feel like they may give us like probably 4, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But okay, so Sodam's a really cool fight. Yes. as far as Luster goes, it's pretty much just brain dead fighting him. Other classes, you do have to focus on counter times. You have to focus on maintaining your height because he's a pretty big dude, right? He's pretty tall.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure your elevation is maintained. Unless you're playing like a range class, then you can just kind of pew pew at his core, I guess. But what I'm gonna try to focus on the most this way, or the most when we fight him now, is just making sure that now that my luster's like where I wanted it to be on JP, but it's it's better here. I'm just gonna try to focus on seeing how fast I can beat him. But I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to play other classes, considering we can get Dark Banisher weapons pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to seize this opportunity to use him to master as many classes as possible.
That's what I did with Fighter on Twin Daggers. I tried doing him, and I couldn't even get with Twin Daggers on Fighter. I first tried Luster. That didn't work out too well for Twin Daggers. I tried a Tool. That did a little better, but I haven't even gotten. I couldn't even get through his second phase, and I wasn't even using Air. I think, Fluxio. I think Fluxio is stronger than Air, and I still didn't get past second phase or even to second phase. He's a chunky boy, I will say that, at the highest depth.
So in terms of loot, we know that the air weapons are going to be dropping from these fights. Are they going to be a claws weapons and units going to be dropping, or would it just be the units that will drop?
They both can drop. Claws, weapons, and units can drop. It's just they're very rare to drop.
Okay.
The claws units, I know the claws leg can drop Skydance. I think the arm can drop Glowing Grace. I think it's called NNA. Or was it called Glowing Grace in NA? I don't remember actually.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm in a very weird situation. My phone just dropped to like 3 minutes, like crazy. So if I like end up getting kicked out of here,
okay.
Everything's dead. Yeah, I'm not home right now, so I really wanted to do this with you guys, and things were kind of like all over the place, but I'm here.
That's all good.
That's fine.
But yeah.
We're coming to the end anyway. Like, the only other thing I was going to talk about was, you mentioned the Fluxio series. What would you say? That's when it comes to endgame gear, right? Fluxio is probably going to be good for some classes, while others would probably go for Kraz. But how are people going to obtain these Fluxio weapons?
In order to obtain Fluxio weapons, you have to do something called Challenge 3 mode. Yeah, Challenge Mode 3. And Challenge Mode 3 is different from the other challenge modes. You actually get to choose your class. But the downside to that is you don't have all your abilities. So say for like Hero or Luster. Hero, you don't get all your PAs. You get some PAs. You get your hero time finish, but you don't get your hero refresh. And for Luster, you get a Gunblade, but you don't have a style yet. So you're gonna struggle until you get to that break point where you can actually buy a style from the vendor.
Okay. Interesting. And in terms of units, were there any other units that are going to be coming outside of the Kraz, or is that pretty much the end?
As far as I'm concerned, Claws or Crass is the only, the last unit set. I don't think they've announced any other unit sets so far.
Yeah, I think there's one more weapon series, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like a gap bridging series, if anything, that's going to come with the 20th anniversary. But
for the Fluxio series, are there classes that would benefit from using the weapons compared to others?
The Fluxio series is interesting. If you hit a certain damage threshold, and I think the damage is like 1 mil and 1 mil 500. I don't know how to say that. It's like 1 mil and 500k. It's like that combined. I don't know how to word that.
1.5.
If you hit that, yeah, thank you. So if you hit that threshold of that damage, you get 100 PP for what? Yep, there it goes.
Guys, I gotta.
Oh.
No, I got you.
Okay. I'm hiding from you guys. You can't see me.
There you go. All right.
So, again, oh God, where did I leave off at after Kaz got kicked? crap.
1.5 mil?
1.5 mil damage or something.
Right. You get like 100 PP for like 20 or 30 seconds around that time. And then you get like a 18% damage boost. But we thought it was gonna be stronger than Crass, but Fluxio can only hold S1, S4, and S5. So it doesn't get to where Crass can get to right now.
Does it get to the point though with Kraz having it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Does it get to the point where you're kind of limiting yourself by having all of those S grade augments on it?
Not really, because that's just like extra damage. For Fluxio, you have to add more like flat attack stats instead of a percentage attack buff.
Yeah, that's fair. So if anything, they're probably kind of even, I guess, in some ways.
Crass is better, but Fluxio it's still good. I'm pretty sure Fluxio, I would say it holds up against a Liberate plus potential weapon.
Okay, good to know. All right, well, we'll probably wrap it up here. That's what we have time for. So whereabouts can we find Kystalstar online? Where are the main places people can tune in or watch?
Be on Twitch. Kystal Star.
Okay.
Kystalstar. Yeah.
Awesome. And Elite?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/Elite4k_.
And any other platforms that either of you can be found on? Twitch TV.
I should be doing more YouTube. I just haven't gotten to it. But I also have a Twitter account that I tweet when I go live, and I occasionally shit post if I'm in a good mood.
Yep. There you go. All right. So you can find the podcast on all major platforms and the live stream archives on YouTube. We've also got the podcast is on like Spotify at this point and all the other major platforms. Thanks for making the time to join us today. I appreciate you both stopping by. Thanks again.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
And we won't do the May Your Guiding Light Shine because I feel like we'd be neglecting King, who's the person that kind of put it all into place. But I'm Anamana, and this is XingKazma, who is has had their Matrix not like this moment with their phone dying. And we'll catch you next time. So thank you everyone for stopping by, and thanks again, Elite and Kystal. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.